What's up, amigos? It's the Prodigy Minute with yours truly, Chris Lee. As you may know, I'm the former #1 for Cornell University, pro circuit player, elite junior development coach, and author and educator, author of The Secrets of Spanish Tennis and the Tennis Technique Bible. So we were talking about Tsitsipas and Djokovic in a recent video, and I just think I've never been a huge fan of Tsitsipas. I don't think his strokes are that impressive. I got into trouble online. Like I wrote some Facebook posts a few years back, and I was like, this dude, his technique kind of looks like D3 college players' technique, in my opinion. It's a little rough, like especially like the serve. He's very off balance on his serve. He kind of falls to the left. It's kind of an awkward looking serve motion. I mean, it doesn't mean he's not a great player. He is a very good player. He's a great athlete, obviously. He moves amazingly well, and he has a pretty good forehand. I mean, even his forehand it's okay. It's not as like elastic and flowing as some of the other guys, like a Kyrgios forehand or a Casper Ruud forehand um, or even like an Alcaraz forehand. You know, like it's not my favorite looking technique. But he gets the job done, but I think his backhand is quite weak for a top player, top 10 player. I think the other players, I mean, come on, and anyone who knows tennis, anyone who played some fairly high level tennis knows that when you see a one-hander, there's usually a way to attack that one-hander, usually playing over the one-handed side, playing high to the backhand. No matter, even very, very good one-handers have troubles with topspin balls, have trouble with high balls. You know, the classic play against a one-hander, whenever you play a one-hander, is to use the kick serve against the one-hander, to use heavy topspin against the one-hander, especially to set up a forehand to attack the one-handed backhand. And I think the one-handers at the high level are all get exposed to this. You know, I was just watching Gasquet, and I was reading a statistic about Gasquet, and he's, I think, 18-0, 0-18 versus Nadal and counting. As good as Gasquet's backhand is, like people love to talk about how Gasquet, he was an amazing player, still playing, but he was #1 junior in the world, and he's got that incredible one-handed backhand. But even a guy as good as that, with one of the greatest one-handers in the world, just gets owned by someone with good heavy topspin who can play high RPM over his backhand. And that's a play that Nadal has used countless times against Roger Federer with great success. And so you see, even at the most elite level with the greatest players in the world, the one-handed backhand is vulnerable, has liabilities. Also, I think with the return of serve, you don't see the same stability, the same ability to handle pace off a very fast serve. So that's another liability, the return of serve. You don't think you see the one-handers returning as well as the double-handed players, which is a huge part of the game in today's modern game. So there are other reasons too. I think I'll get into it on maybe a top 5 video coming up soon, talk about the disadvantages of the one-hander versus the two-hander and some of the potential advantages. But I think the advantages are less real and less persuasive now. And I just think you see the game moving more and more to the double-hander. There's no more women on the tour in the top 100 with a single-handed backhand, none. And there are some men left, close to about 10%. And some of those guys are old. Like you don't see a lot of next-gen players coming up with a one-hander. And I think there's a reason for that, because who wants to be vulnerable? Who wants some of the weaknesses of a one-hander? So it's definitely concerning on the one-handed front. But getting back to Tsitsipas, I just think he's his backhand's okay. He does a pretty good job with it. But I think when the top players play him, there's a game plan there. There's a clear path to victory there, and there's a clear vulnerability there that pretty much all the top players are going to do. And that's going down to any other one-handed player, even the really good ones like Dimitrov and Shapovalov. I like his backhand very much. And Musetti. Musetti's got an awesome backhand, but still, these guys aren't winning slams, are they? And I think they are very vulnerable, especially to guys who can play heavy spin. So just, guys, what do you think? Tsitsipas, never been a huge fan of his technique. feel like when he matches up against someone like Djokovic, he can't. I mean, at least the statistics from the AO finals show that he just can't match Djokovic from the back of the court, especially backhand to backhand, or he's vulnerable with his one-handed backhand. Can get more into it on another video. Guys, if you like this Prodigy Maker Minute, check out my big show, the Prodigy Maker Show. If you like the program and you like the channel, please consider subscribing. We're trying to grow this channel. I have a personal goal to try to get to 10,000 subscribers, in the next year or two. And so we're kind of working towards that. I just do these videos in my, part-time. I'm a full-time coach on the court, so I have very little time to, create content. That's not my main job, but I think the channel is steadily growing, and we're getting a lot more comments. Please leave a comment. We're getting lots of comments in the comments section, and we're kind of building a community, which is really cool. So thanks, guys, for subscribing if you're into that. I'll see you guys on the next program.